here on WFAN. Evan and Tiki on the fan right up until New York Yankees baseball. I got a very busy day. What does the private workout with Shedeur Sanders mean for the New York Giants? We will discuss. It's New York versus Detroit. What got Isaiah Thomas all pissed off? And we'll dive into the Yankee win last night. But before we get started, I'd like to read you something. You may have been listening to this radio station all day, Boomer and Gio in the morning, BT and Sal right before us, and you may have heard about comments Juan Soto made. I'd like to read you, very briefly, the Juan Soto comments, and then we will declare if this is a big freaking deal or a nothing burger. Juan Soto was asked by Mike Puma of the New York Post, hey, it's a little different. Aaron Judge not protecting you, instead of it being Pete Alonso. And Juan says, it's definitely different. I had the best hitter in baseball hitting behind me. I was getting more attacked and more pitches in the strike zone, less intentional walks and things like that. I was pitched differently last year. I would say I'm getting a decent amount of strikes, but there's some specific situations where pitchers don't attack. I feel like I'm trying to be the same. Do damage when I can, whenever they want to attack me. I take my chances, and when they don't, I take my walk. I'm not trying to be selfish or anything and try to hit home runs every time. I'm just trying to take my pitches and take my swings whenever I can. And when they don't want to, I pass the baton to my teammates. Everyone has a role, and I feel as a team, we have to go attack pitchers as a team. We don't have to attack the pitchers as individuals. If they don't want to pitch me, I just pass the baton and let Pete do his thing. If they don't want to pitch to him, he should do the same thing. Let me, as just one human being, declare in not the loudest voice, but the strongest voice I could possibly use. This is a nothing burger.
Then why is everybody so bent out of shape about it?
Good question, Teak. I have a theory.
Go ahead. I have one, too.
Do you?
I do.
Ooh, we're going to pass theories around. I think that there is a lot of sensitivity around Juan Soto leaving the Yankees for the Mets. And I think that sensitivity not only involves Yankee fans, it involves Met fans. I think there are some Met fans that still feel almost not comfortable. Like they still can't believe that Juan Soto chose to join the New York Mets. They don't have self-confidence. And so I think that's why there are some Met fans, not saying all, not saying the majority, that are afraid of their shadow. And I think that there are some Yankee fans, let me use a word that best describes them, some of them, they're douches. And they are looking to attack at any moment. Again, I'm only one guy. I'm here to tell you that Juan Soto gave an honest answer to a question about protection. He said nothing wrong. He's not miserable as a Met. He's not throwing Pete Alonso under the bus. He's not doing any of that. So you're more than welcome to disagree. You're more than welcome to say, though, the sky is falling. You're more than welcome to be a douche Yankee fan or an immature Met fan. I'm just one guy wearing my Mel Ott jersey today. And all I'll tell you is this is nothing. It's not a big freaking deal. And the only reason we believe I should open the show together talking about it is because some of you people think it's a big deal.
Well, you know why they think it's a big deal? Because Mike Puma did his job. He asked a very simple question. And it's not about who's hitting behind Juan Soto, because we all see it. Pete Alonso's having a damn near career year to start this season.
Yeah.
Especially as it pertains to average, especially relative to the last couple of years where he had 219 and then 240-something, whatever it was. Pete Alonso is not a problem behind Juan Soto. This is becoming a story because John Heyman responded to this and said, Pete, Juan, this is not the right time to have this conversation. You shouldn't answer that question. And then people start picking up on that, saying, yeah, he shouldn't answer that question. He's taking shots at Pete Alonso, and he's absolutely not. I actually think that Juan Soto is just throwing flowers at Aaron Judge. I think Juan Soto, maybe it's subconscious because I don't think it's intentional. You're right. He's just answering a question.
Yeah.
Hey, someone asked me a question. I'm going to answer it. Now, is it a little too thorough? Probably. But whatever. He's answering the question. And he used that time when answering that question, I think, to throw some flowers at Aaron Judge because Aaron Judge is phenomenal. He was a reigning MVP. And also, maybe get some, some love from Yankee fans.
Oh, you're crazy.
I'm just saying.
I mean, you're something.
I don't think it's subconscious. I think he's just showing his appreciation for the situation he had a year ago. and given Judge some love. That's as simple as that.
Yeah, I think it's as simple, and I appreciate this about Juan. I'll rip him a little bit later on because there is something Juan Soto has done that has annoyed me, and we'll address that coming up in the next 20 minutes. But this isn't it. Because what Juan Soto did, and I think you should appreciate it as much as anybody, that's right, I'm going to bring you into the conversation. When a reporter asked you a question, you gave an answer.
Always.
And sometimes fans didn't like your answer.
Right. Sometimes my coach didn't either.
That's the one I was thinking about. But you gave honest answers. And I remember, because I've been here for 20 years now, I had the privilege.
Damn, man, really?
I know, it's crazy, man. Yeah, my first overnight was in 2004. So I've been here for 20 years. And I had the privilege of talking about you on the radio. And sometimes Giant fans...
It kind of makes me a little uncomfortable.
Does it? But I remember...
What did you say about me?
I don't remember. I wish I did.
I was himself an IFO before he ripped you to shreds.
I know, right? It's just me being an IFO, but that damn Tiki Barber.
Honestly, 20 years ago, I may have been different in the way I looked at things. The way I look at things now is I want the athlete to be honest. I appreciate that. Juan Soto gave an honest answer. He was asked about protection. He gave an analytical answer. And I think what you did as a player is you also gave honest answers.
Right.
The problem is sometimes those honest answers get blown up by irrational fans or irrational media members. And so when you said that the Giants were outplayed and outcoached, they have to get their ass kicked in a playoff game, while that pissed a lot of people off.
By the Carolina Panthers at home on the season that mattered for Wellington Mara and Bob Tisch, who both passed away that year.
You know what?
I was pissed off.
And you know what I said on the overnight that night?
What?
What did Tiki say that was wrong? He's right. You may not like hearing it, may make you feel uncomfortable, but spot the lie. Spot the lie. You said nothing wrong. You said the truth. Juan Soto is asked about protection, and there's only two guys in this sport who I believe could offer the protection on the level of Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. That's it. That's the list. Not Bobby Witt Jr., not Mike Trout at this point, not even the great Pete Alonso. Nobody. So Juan is coming from a position in which, he received maybe some of the greatest protection a human could possibly get.
Right.
And so when he's asked about it directly, he gave an answer. It wasn't a shot at Pete Alonso, unless Pete Alonso thinks he's Aaron Judge, which he may, by the way. So I have no problem with it because I'm no longer, maybe I was a long time ago, I'm no longer going to get mad when someone tells the truth. And the truth wasn't even that offensive. He didn't say anything that bad. He said it's different. He said the best player in baseball was protecting me. All that's true.
Right.
And I'll tell you the other thing as a Met fan. Now I'm going to take my IBO and I'm going to throw it out the window. I'm a Met fan. I care about one thing. I care about winning. That's what I care about. And the Mets are 11-5. And despite Juan Soto not getting a base hit with runners in scoring position until last night.
In dramatic fashion.
Yeah, in great fashion. Despite that, Pete Alonso and Brandon Nimmo are coming up with guys on base constantly. You want to know why? Because even though Juan Soto isn't hitting, he's getting on base. And the more guys that are on base and the more traffic that there is, even when you suck with runners in scoring position, which is basically the entire Met team outside of Pete Alonso, if you give yourself enough opportunities, you can take advantage of it. And the Mets are winning.
Yeah.
So I'm happy.
Look, you gotta give a lot of credit to Pete Alonso because teams effectively are disrespecting him. They're expecting him to be that guy that hits 240 or doesn't hit clutch home runs or doesn't get the big hit in situations that matter. But that's not who Pete Alonso is this year. And maybe it's the pressure of just getting a deal done or being wanted and $30 million a year guy this year for the New York Mets. But Pete Alonso is taking advantage of the disrespect that teams are having for him. It's not going to last forever, by the way.
Right. Of course.
It's gonna go back to we have to pitch at Pete Alonso and we also have to pitch at Juan Soto. We have to try to get him out to prevent Pete from getting RBI opportunities. So I give Pete a lot of credit, even though, and it's weird because when you think about the comments that Juan Soto made, everybody wants to say he's taking a shot at Pete Alonso, but how is he taking a shot at a guy who's hitting 340 or whatever the heck he's hitting? Right? It doesn't make sense. And so you know he wasn't taking a shot. He was just stating a fact about his experience from last year relative to this year.
And you're right. It's not a shot at Pete Alonso. It's more a shot at the pitchers who are treating Juan Soto, rightfully so, like a great player, and they're making decisions of we'd rather have Pete Alonso beat us or Brandon Nimmo beat us than Juan Soto. And what I want Juan to continue to do, this does not bother me, is take take your walks, bro.
Right.
I don't want you to expand the strike zone. I don't want you to say, I have to hit a 3-run home run here. I want you to spit on the close ones. I want you to draw walks because baseball's a game of failure. And if you're going to get on base 45% of the time, you give the team I root for, because I'm a Met fan. Not a Soto fan or an Alonso fan. I may like the guys. I'm a Met fan. I want to see my team win. And if you're just waking up very late on this Tuesday afternoon, let me give you an update on that subject. They're 11-5. And I could give a rat's ass who they're beating. Oh, but the Twins suck. Who cares? The Yankees are in the American League. You know what I tell them?
Right.
Who cares?
Everybody sucks in the American
Everybody stinks. Beat them. It doesn't matter. So spit on those close pitches, continue to draw walks, and do your thing. But the reason why some of my fellow Met fans, because I do want to address the Met fan who's bothered by this, I know why you're bothered by this. I was bothered by this on opening day, and you need to grow up, and I'm going to try to help you because I'm a child too, right? But I try to learn from my mistakes. If you go back to opening day, remember how I was irrationally upset when Juan Soto struck out? And a part of my irrationality was what Yankee fans were texting me. And the next day, the day after, I realized, who cares? Like, yeah, Yankee fans can be jerks, and this is going to be a back and forth all year. It's one game. He didn't come through against Josh Hader. Move on. And I realized I'm not going to let Yankee fans bother me. And so to my fellow Met fan who somehow took these Juan Soto comments and took it as a negative, it's not a negative. You know what it is? You're afraid of douchians like Sean Morash or what other Yankee fan you have in your life. I've got plenty of them. Who are going to throw it in your face.
I like that. Douchians.
You like that one?
That's a tough word.
I know.
And honestly, I don't mean any disrespect to you, Sean, or any other Yankee fan who one may consider douchian in this regard. It doesn't matter that they're looking at this and saying, oh, my God, he hates the Mets. He has regret. Like, fine. If they want to have a stupid opinion, everyone's entitled to have a stupid opinion. But don't let them cloud what Juan actually said. Don't let them change the facts on what Juan actually said. And that's why I'm finally maturing. Because if this was young, immature, irrational Evan, I would have turned on the microphone and screamed and yelled, not because Juan Soto said anything wrong, but because my feelings are hurt by Sean or Keith or Big Mac or any other Yankee fan that one may consider douchian.
I think he said everything right. He gave kudos to Aaron Judge and, by extension, the New York Yankees. And you know he wasn't taking a shot at Pete Alonso because Pete Alonso is raking behind him. So where's the fault? Where's the issue? There is not one.
Well, let's hear
he's
from...
He's calling pitchers cowards is what he's doing.
Absolutely. I agree with that. He's calling out the pitchers.
Right.
Let's hear from a douchey and Yankee fan. Sean Morash, the floor is yours. Rub it into Tommy and I's faces.
Look, there's no rubbing in. One thing that I think we can all agree on is at the apex of it, it's not a big deal because he's going to be a Met for the next 15 years, whether he likes the protection behind him or not. So that, from that standpoint, this changes nothing. However, the telltale sign that somebody is bothered by something is when they openly say into a microphone they're not bothered by something and explain why they would be bothered if they were bothered because of douchey and Yankee fans. So deep down, Evan, there's at least a piece of you that wishes Juan wasn't as honest while also respecting his honesty. Can we at least admit that?
No.
You'd rather he had not have said that.
No.
Okay.
I'm not going to give you that because
that's fine. You can deny yourself your feelings. One day you'll come around
I'm not denying it. I'm giving you an honest assessment of it.
Here's an honest assessment of it. This first 3 weeks has been an adjustment for Juan Soto, and I think we probably all should have expected it to be. He is now the guy, the face, the billionaire of baseball, and heavy lies the crown. Last year, he got, like Aaron Judge, the king of all kings, to hit behind him, and it propelled Soto to his biggest offensive output as far as power numbers all year, and he's dealing with that adjustment and the pressure. Why doesn't Juan Soto have more home runs? Finally, it's his second last night. Why doesn't he have more home runs? Why doesn't he have more of that? He's being honest about it while internally admitting, from a baseball standpoint as it stands right now,
I disagree with your baseball assessment.
He does have some regrets.
Well,
now, that doesn't mean regrets that he's a Met for the next 15 years. It's regrets in that this is going to be a little harder than I thought, easy on. It doesn't mean it's massive. It doesn't mean he wishes he didn't sign the contract. But the word regret still
He's
That's why
also
in
a
there.
baseball player.
Of course
he
he
gets
is.
it. He knows.
Of course, and that's why he's being honest. That's why I don't
When-
think it's a big deal, but there is a level of regret
When
there.
Juan Soto decided, and I remember using this analogy then, the way I make decisions, the way maybe even Tiki makes decisions, and I don't know if Juan actually did this, but when you make a big decision, you make a little checklist. All right, this is a positive, that's a positive. And when you compared the New York Mets versus the New York Yankees, one of the checks in the Yankees' corner was Aaron Judge.
Yep.
I definitely think when Juan was considering both situations, I'm sure he factored in that, hey, for the next half a decade, because Aaron's not going to be great forever, certainly not the life of that contract, I'm going to have this. And he still ultimately decided to sign with the Mets, even knowing Pete Alonso may not be back. And he did voice an opinion to Steve Cohen, I want Pete Alonso back. So, yeah, I'm sure that was a check mark in the corner of the New York Yankees, but he still picked the Mets.
He did.
And 15 or 16 games in, when they're 11-5, by the way, the idea that there's any form of regret is what I like to call Yankee douchery fiction. And if that's what you need to tell yourself, meanwhile, Ben Rice is having a great year. You should flaunt him out there.
Wearing
the best
22.
Best 22 in New York, right? You don't need to create that. You don't need the fiction, bro.
Look, you can call half our audience douchies today with the Yankee
I did
fan
not
thing.
call half
you
the
did
audience.
without
No,
doing
I
it.
didn't. I'm saying there are certain Yankee fans who are like that, just like there are certain Met fans, watch this, who are whiny biatches.
No doubt
That
about
doesn't mean it's half the audience. I don't know the percentage.
A simple question. Today or last night, yesterday,
Yes.
who said they, don't have the best hitter in baseball behind him that's contributed to something? Was it Juan Soto or was it douchey Yankee fans? Who said it?
Well, what did he actually say? He said, it's definitely different. I had the
Yep.
best hitter in baseball hitting behind me.
Did douchey Yankee fans say that or did Juan Soto say that?
Juan said it, but what's the issue with
What's
it?
the point?
The point is he's admitting that, yes, last year he had a better situation behind him. Point blank, case closed. He said it. That's it.
But it's obvious, and we already knew that. And he knew
he's
that.
again reiterating that.
Because he was asked about
Right.
it.
All Evan is saying is he's stating facts.
And I am too.
No, you're twisting the narrative.
Yes, you're
to
twisting
fit
facts. You're
what
twisting
you want.
facts.
By the way, I hope Juan Soto says that every single day because I was getting, and Evan was as well, getting hit up on social media about the other 22 that plays in this town and about what Juan Soto said. And then Juan Soto parked one in the right field seats, and I didn't hear from those people again. So they went quietly into the night. So
And
let
his
them
went
chirp.
farther.
I also think we need to.
And the exit velo was much greater.
Launch angle.
Launch
beautiful.
angle, beautiful.
While I don't think we're there yet or even close to there yet, the last time I heard Evan say into a microphone comments by a player that he loved and was back and were no big deal, his name was Aaron Rodgers.
Don't do this.
And after a while, comments became second comments. Second comments became third comments.
But Juan Soto does not have a history like Aaron Rodgers.
I agree.
Has a history.
Yeah, I agree.
And by history, I mean his story on anything that he ever says.
That's right. That's right. The last time I said nothing burger into a microphone on WFAN was after Aaron Rodgers pushed Robert Saleh. Yep. And then we all know what happened. But I truly believe this as a Met fan. And I'm only one. I can't speak for everybody. It is not a big deal. As much as some Met fans will say it's a big deal, as much as some Yankee fans will make it a big deal, as much as Tiki thinks Juan Soto is throwing flowers at Aaron Judge so he doesn't get booed at Yankee Stadium.
He's not going to get booed at Yankee Stadium because you know what, Yankee fans?
Don't do this now.
You are going to stand up in the Subway Series. You are going to face away from Juan.